now we got those two files. The next thing we need to go get is a TFTP server. And the TFTP server, what it will do is serve out the files that the router is looking for when it's looking for them. So the one I used is this one. I'll put the address for it into the description again. But it's just a TFTP server for Windows. I used the 64-bit standard edition. If you, the 32-bit standard edition will work as well. If you're not running 64-bit, then definitely choose the 32. Now, I already downloaded it, but it's right. Actually, the one you want to download is not the zip. You want to download the installer because the zip file you got to unzip it. It's kind of a hassle. It's better just to download the installer, which is the entire program. And once you download it, you install it. Just use all the defaults on it, and it'll work just fine. It did for me anyway. So go back here to my folders list. And there you see I have both of them, the TFTP 64 and the 32. I'm using the 64 and it works, so that's a good thing. So those are that's some of the software you need. Actually, that's all. I believe that's all the software you need. Okay, so once you got that software, then we can move on. You need that stuff to initialize your router and get on the net. And reflash it. So let's go down to our network icon here and open Network and Sharing Center. And then we're going to change adapter settings. And at this point, what you want to do is you want to disable your Wi-Fi, because you don't want to do any of this through the Wi-Fi, which is another probable reason for this happening. You always want to use a hardwired connection, because any hiccup and that's it. You've got a corrupted flash. Okay, this is my local area connection, which is my local area network connection, my LAN connection. And I'm hardwired right now with the network cable from my laptop, from my network port to the #1 port. I don't know if it's important which port you use, but I'm using the #1 port on the WDR 4300, and that's the LAN port, not the WAN port or the internet port. It's yellow and it says #1. So that's what I'm using. Right click this, choose properties, go to Internet Protocol version 4, and then say use the following IP address. Okay, so back to this. We have it, we've stopped and it's running. Now, to know what IP address to put into the properties over here, you need this to tell you what it's going to be. So here you just type in TFTP and boot. So TFTP boot, and it tries to download or install a file automatically. Here you hit Control C, so your control key, hold it down and then hit C, and it stops it. But it gives you the important information. #1, it gives you the IP address that it's looking for a server on, which is 192.168.1.100. So that's the IP address we got to use up here. So we'll do that. 192.168.1.100. The next one will auto-populate when you just click in the field. And the default gateway is not all that important, but we'll put it in anyway. 1.1. We're going to change all these back at the end anyway. So hit OK and OK again. All right, so then it's trying to identify a network. It's not going to, because your router that you're connected on is not really alive yet. But step 1 is setting that IP address. So now when you turn on your FTP server software, the router will be able to find the TFTP server. The other important information is right there, and that's the load address. Well, you'll see why that's important here in a minute. So next, let's open up the TFTP software, and now mine is TFTP 64, and there's a firewall. Yeah, allow access. Always allow access. All right. So I'm gonna just pop this open a little bigger, so we can make sure we know how to configure it. All right. So first thing we need to do is browse over here to where you put your tools or your bin files for your router. So in my case, TP-Link, WDR 4300, and under our R25697, and so I've highlighted that and hit OK. Now just click on Show Directory, and you'll see all the files in that directory. And that's really important that you have the root directory for this server program correct. Otherwise, it'll never find the file. Okay. So next thing on the TFTP server, hit the server interface and hit the drop down and choose your 192.168.1.100 IP address. That way, you know, it's addressed directly to the IP address that it needs to be. It's listening on that IP address and it's ready. So at this point, this program is ready to go. I'm just going to leave it up. Now let's go back to the Putty screen. You'll see an interesting thing here. That TFTP boot is looking for a file, and the file name is right here. Okay, it is 6F01A8C0.img. So I'm just going to right click that, which is the same as copying it. I'm going to put it into my notepad over here. Oh, I already have. There it is. Okay, so why that's important is because that's the file that is the router is automatically going to go find when you type TFTP boot. So what we need to do is rename one of the two files we downloaded to that name. So let's go back to our where we stored our two files that we downloaded, the factory-to-ddwrt.bin and the web flash bin. Now the one you want to rename is this one. Okay, it's the factory-to-ddwrt.bin. Now if you're not seeing the extensions on your files, just hit your Alt key, go to Tools and Folder Options, then go to View, and then change your your settings to this. Okay, show hidden files file names right here. So check the radio button on that. Hide empty drives in computer and folder. That doesn't matter. Hide extensions for known file types. So uncheck that, right? And then you can, if you want, check hide protected system files, right? It's up to you. But all these checks have to be set correctly, like I have here, and then you'll be able to see the extensions, and that makes your life a little easier when you're doing this. So cancel that. All right. So you see I have it already set here. I'm just going to delete that file. Yeah, bye-bye. And I already copied the file name right there just by right-clicking it, see? And when you right-click it, that's just the same as saying copy. So here we're going to rename this file. So highlight it, right-click it, and choose rename. Then hit Control-A, or highlight the whole word, and then right-click it again and hit paste. Now it's going to be called exactly what that router is looking for, that file. Okay, so if you change the file name extension, the file may become unusable, blah blah blah. Yes, we're going to do that. We need to change it. It needs to be changed. All right, so let's minimize that. So back to our TFTP program. Show the directory. Now you see that that file is there, just like we set it, right? So close that. And basically at this point, this TFTP program is listening for a connection on 192.168.1.100, and it's ready to go. All right. So now that we've done that, we're going to go back to Putty, and in the screen, in the Putty screen, just minimize this or delete all that, and just type in TFTP boot. Well, TFTP boot. Now it should find that file. I'm going to hit it, and there it goes. Look at that. Automatically starts loading that file because it's there, because it's ready, and because it's serving it out. That's step one. Okay, that's really good news. You just sent the file over to the router. That's awesome. That's what it should be happening. And so your router is actually functioning. If you follow all my steps and this doesn't come up, or something like that doesn't work, then there's something deeper wrong with your machine. So or with your router. So next step, go back to my notepad. I'm going to right click this, highlight it, and then right click it and hit copy. I'm going to minimize my notepad again, Now, let's hold on for a second. Sorry. Notice here a few things. Oops. All right. I'm going to bring this up here. Now, you see the hex number here, 7B0000 hex. Well, in my erase parameter, that's the number you use. So if your number is different here, then use this plus whatever number you have here. But I don't see why it would be different, but if it is, change it. If your number doesn't work, try it a couple times and it doesn't work, try this number and see what happens. Okay, but you know, this is the way I'm going with it. So I'm just going to right click here to copy that command. Then I'm going to hit enter, and you see the numbers scrolling through down here on the right hand side. When that's done, then we're going to do the next step, which is basically what we're doing right there is erasing the old data, and then we're going to copy the new data to where it's supposed to go, and that's the second command you see down here. Alright, so I highlighted the second command, right click it, click copy, then drop it in here, and it's going again, as you can see. So we'll wait for that to finish. Okay, so obviously I put the wrong command in there. Let me check that again. It doesn't matter that I did it twice because it's just erasing the same area again. Okay, so for some reason that's not going to let me copy it and paste it in there. So what I'm going to do is Control C, back over here, Control V, once it's done doing that again. Let's see, let's go to right click here. If you right click on the top bar, you get all these special commands for this. And let's go, is there a paste in here? Obviously not. Wow, that bites. So let's try that one more time. There it is. This time it went. So I right clicked here, I copied it after selecting it all, then I right clicked on this window and it actually gave me the right command. So here we're going to hit enter, and so it's now copying what we uploaded to the router to the flash memory. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you any kind of indication of what it's doing here. You just have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, I don't know if this works in every case, but it certainly worked in my case. This is my second time doing this. I had to screw up a flash just to get it to be done to finish this video. Okay, so at this point we're done with that. At this point, just type in reset and enter. And as you can see, it looks very successful. It's not doing a reboot every 2 seconds. It's loading everything it's supposed to load, and it looks like it's actually booting correctly. Alright, so at this point, the next thing to do, because the router is actually functioning, I'm going to go down here to our network address. As you can see, it's now going a little snaky. So I'm going to go to change adapter settings, and then right click that, go to properties, and then go to internet protocols. And here we're going to change this back to obtain automatically, obtain DNS server automatically, and OK. And then you're going to, at this point, I'm not going to re-enable my wireless network connection yet because I want to make sure that I'm only connecting to this thing through the LAN. So I'm going to do that next. So I'll just minimize this out of the way. Okay, well, this has stopped working because we changed the IP address probably. Okay, so Great. Now let's go check and see if we can actually get to it. Is there any information here as to what its IP address is? Well, it doesn't matter. The way to check to see what the IP address is to go down here, open Sharing Center again. Oh, actually, we don't have to. Sorry. We'll just open up the network adapter here, right-click it, and choose Properties. Right-click it and choose Status. And you'll see now under the details that I have an IP address. So I set it to work automatically, and now I have an IP address 192.168.3.1. That's really good news. Sorry, that 3.147 right here. That's really good news because that's what it used to be. So I know the router is working correctly at this point. So let's go take a visit at on the router. So open up this. Let's go to the number 192.168.3.1. Come on. Okay, so it's asking me for a username and password, so root. And you put your password in there. Whatever your username and password was. And at this point, I'm just going to hit refresh. Okay, now I don't ever want to save my password for the router. Never for this site. So there we go. But the router's back to life. This is good news. Let's go to status, and you'll see here that it's TP-Link WDR version 1, and it's using the 25697 firmware. So we're happy. All right. So at this point, we can just open up, go back to your networked adapters, and you can turn on your wireless and connect to it wirelessly if you wish, and rock and roll from there. So that's how I fixed my semi-bricked router. I knew it wasn't bricked because the lights were still functioning and the thing was still going through a boot loop. I could tell it was going through a boot loop by the sequence of the lights that kept repeating when it kept opening, when it kept turning on and off. So basically, what you will need is that cp.b breakout USB to UART adapter, and it's a total of $6 for that. So $6 saved me a $50-$60 router. I'm very happy with that. You're going to need a soldering iron, one with a fine tip, and a little bit of solder, and something to cut that trace with, and a little bit of wire to jump to 2 other traces. So if you're handy with a soldering iron, this shouldn't be all that much of an issue for you. And I bet you, even if I hadn't cut that trace, that it would have worked on 5 volts as well, because I didn't connect any of the power leads to the router. So, but don't take my my advice on that. Just follow my directions on getting that USB adapter set to 3.3 volts. So, after a little bit of hard work and a little bit of diligence, hopefully you get your router back up and working. Sorry, one more thing I forgot to do here. After you're done getting it back up and running, you should flash it to the web flash firmware. So go to the administration firmware upgrade, and then choose file. Of course, we're going for the 25697, and then you choose the web flash bin. All right, it's a 2-stage process. The first one is the factory-to-ddwrt. And the second one is this one. So you need to finish it by putting the second one in and hit upgrade, right? And after a bit, it will reboot without any issue, hopefully. Otherwise, hey, you know how to recover it. That's it for my video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video and it helped you out in some way, do me a favor, click on the like button right down here. And if you wish to subscribe to my channel, just click on this link up here. And that should subscribe you to the Richard Lloyd channel, or Richard Lloyd USA channel. Okay, again, thank you very much for your time and watching.